Hey, welcome to the Explainer. So today we're going to talk about something that's becoming, well, it's kind of like a superpower in our crazy, distracted world. We're talking about deep work.
So let me ask you something. Does this sound familiar? You've been grinding it out all day, 8 hours at your desk. You fired off a ton of emails, sat through a bunch of meetings, but then you look up and that one big important project, it's exactly where you left it. Not an inch of progress. You were busy, for sure, but were you actually productive? That's the huge problem we're getting into right now. And that right there, that leads us straight into something called the productivity paradox. It's this massive mix-up we all have between looking like we're working and actually creating something that matters. I mean, think about it. Our whole work culture seems to reward this stuff, right? The faster you answer an email, the more meetings on your calendar, the more important you must be. But what's really happening? This whole culture of visible busyness is just a trap. It creates this constant buzz of distraction that actually stops us from doing the kind of focused breakthrough work that really moves the needle. Okay, so how do we get out of that trap? Well, first, we've got to understand that there are really only two ways we can work. And author Cal Newport breaks this down perfectly. And here it is, laid out plain and simple. You've got deep work on one side. This is the heavy lifting, right? Full concentration, pushing your brain to its limits. It's how you learn really complex stuff and create things that nobody else can easily copy. Then, on the other side, you have shallow work. This is, well, it's all the other stuff. The logistical tasks, the things you can do with half your brain tied behind your back. Answering those simple emails, setting up meetings. It's easy, anyone can do it, and it gives you that little rush, that illusion of being productive. So let's be super clear on what deep work actually is. It's not just working hard. It's the ability to focus, really focus, with zero distractions on one single thing that's cognitively demanding. It's that magic state of flow, where you're just locked in and doing your absolute best stuff. All right, so we get what it is, but why does this matter so much right now? What's the big deal? Let's talk about why this isn't just a nice skill to have. It's your secret weapon. If you look at who's really succeeding in the economy today, it boils down to a few groups of people. You've got folks who can work with complex tech, you've got the absolute superstars in any given field, and, well, you have people with money. The first two, they have one thing in common. They can learn hard things fast and produce work at an elite level. And guess what? There's just no way to do that without deep work. It's the fundamental skill you need to stay relevant and valuable. And look, this goes way beyond just your paycheck. There's something really powerful that happens in your brain. When you're in that deep work zone, you feel like a true craftsman. There's this sense of pride because you're not just clearing a to-do list, you're building something meaningful. That feeling, that's real lasting satisfaction. And trust me, you'll never get that from hitting inbox zero. And the reason the stakes are so high is because we're living through what you could call an attention crisis. Seriously, every single ping, every notification, every time you just quickly check your feed, it's like a little hit of a drug for your brain. It's rewiring us to crave constant new stuff. We are literally training ourselves out of the ability to focus, right at the moment when that skill has never been more important. So what do we do about it? How do we fight back and get our focus back? Well, the good news is there's a game plan. A practical blueprint, really. It's built on 4 key rules that are designed to help you build this deep work muscle. And here they are. Simple as that. Number 1, work deeply. 2, embrace boredom. 3, quit social media, but selectively. And 4, drain the shallows. This is your new workout plan for your brain. All right, let's jump into rule number 1. This is the big one, the foundation for everything else. The whole idea here is that deep work isn't something that just happens. You can't just hope for it. You have to make it happen on purpose. So what does that look like? It means you literally schedule it. You block out time on your calendar for deep work just like you would for a client meeting. You create a little ritual around it. Maybe go to the same quiet spot, grab a coffee, and most importantly, you turn your phone off. These are signals to your brain that say, okay, it's go time. And if you do it consistently, it stops being this thing you have to force and just becomes a powerful habit. Okay, rule number 2. Now, this one's going to sound a little weird, I'll admit, but it is absolutely essential if you want to rewire your brain for focus. You have to embrace boredom. Here's the best way to think about it. Your concentration is a muscle, and every single time you're in a moment of downtime, waiting in line, waiting for a meeting, and you instinctively reach for your phone, you're weakening that muscle. You're telling your brain, I can't handle being unstimulated. But when you resist that urge, when you just stand there and, well, be a little bored, that's a rep. That's a mental push-up. You're literally strengthening your ability to focus when it really counts.
All right, on to rule 3. And this is one that people get wrong all the time. This is not about throwing your phone in a river and moving to a cabin in the woods. It's about being strategic and intentional with the tech you use.
The mindset here is to think like a master craftsman. A great carpenter doesn't just have a messy toolbox filled with every tool imaginable. No, they have a few high-quality tools that they've chosen very carefully for their specific work. You need to do the exact same thing with your digital tools. Take a hard look at every app, every social media account, and ask a simple question. Does this tool give me a huge, positive return on my most important goals? If the answer is kinda or not really, or if the cost to your focus is just too high, you gotta be ruthless. Get rid of it. And that brings us to rule number 4. Let's be real. Shallow work is a part of life. You can't just get rid of it completely. So the goal here isn't to eliminate it. It's to put it in a box so it doesn't leak out and take over your whole day. So how do you box it in? First, you time block your day. Every minute has a job. That stops the shallow stuff from just expanding to fill any empty space. Second, you get super picky about meetings. You start asking, could this be an email? And maybe most importantly, you change how you measure success. Your value isn't based on how many emails you sent today, it's based on what you actually produced.
So you see, when you start putting all these pieces together, when deep work becomes a habit, when you've retrained your brain to embrace focus, and you've got the shallow stuff under control, what you end up with is something that, honestly, feels like a superpower in today's world. And that's really the core message here. As Cal Newport says, focus is the new superpower. In a world that is practically designed to shatter your concentration, the person who can just tune out the noise and really truly think, they have an advantage that's almost unfair. Now look, none of this is easy. The entire world is conspiring to distract you, but that's the whole point. Because it's so hard, it's also incredibly valuable. The few people who actually build this skill, they're the ones who are going to learn faster, create better things, and just plain outperform everyone else who's drowning in notifications. It really is the #1 thing that will set you apart. So, I'll leave you with this question. We all get the same 24 hours, and our attention, that's the most valuable currency we have. In a world that's doing everything it can to steal every last bit of it from you, what are you going to build with yours?